Hi folks, I'm Gary Dunshee with Big Bend Saddlery, and for this month's tack tip I thought we might talk a little bit about the lining that goes on the skirts of saddles, the part that's on the underneath side that goes next to your pad or blanket or whatever. And I'll just tell you kind of what we do here and what you ought to look for whenever you're getting your saddle repaired, and when to tell if you need a new lining or not a new lining. Any reputable saddle shop will use real wool skin. It's wool on one side and leather on the other. It was a big sacrifice on the sheep's part, not just getting shorn. And that's what works the best. These are 1-inch saddler's barks. You can tell that they're thick and heavy, last a long time. A lot of shops today are using an artificial lining, and the artificial lining is more of a yellow color. It's kind of yellowy, and it's kind of hard to tell, you know, if it's wool or not. But you can pull it apart right there by the skirts, and you can see if it's got a leather backing or a cloth backing. And if it's cloth, then you know it's the artificial stuff, which I don't care for at all. People will bring saddles in and they say, well, I think it needs a new lining, but I'm not sure. And as far as we're concerned, as long as it's not hurting a horse's back or dry spotting or something like that, you probably don't need a new wool skin. I've seen saddles without any wool down here all the way around, but they had wool on the bars. And the bars, these two areas on the tree right here, that's the bars, and that's what counts. That's where the rubber meets the road right there. That's what's up next to your horse's back, and all that needs to be smooth and should have good wool skin on it. I'm going to move over here to this other saddle, and it's kind of dirty down underneath the bars, but you can kind of see how the bars lie in there this way on either side. And then on this saddle, they brought it in because it was starting to dry spot a little bit, and we won't know what the problem is till we get inside. But there's a little area right here in the front. A lot of saddles have this. If you rub your hand over it, you feel a little knot there, and all the wool has worn off of that little spot. It's not as bad on the other side, but what happened is when they ran their strings, their saddle strings, through the tree and it turns back, well, it goes through the skirt, or it's supposed to go through the skirt, and so the string is up next to the wool skin. Well, they either cut their strings too thick or didn't skive it down or did something, but it made a knot there. Well, that was the first thing touching, so all that wore off. That's not a good deal. I've seen a lot of saddles where they just drilled all the way through and ran the skirts on the outside of the wool, and that's not a good deal either. And if we look back up to this saddle, you can see that the wool is worn off here, and they brought it in, thought they needed a new lining, but we're recommending to them they don't get a new lining. It's not bothering a horse or anything, and that wool can wear off anywhere down here as long as the bars up here still have good wool on them and everything works real good. Whenever you go to have problems, something's wrong. Usually it's not the wool skin. Usually it's kind of the princess and the pea effect. There's probably something underneath the wool, you know, it's gone wrong. Either riggings have pulled down and gotten out of position a little bit, or something. Maybe the tree might have got twisted a little bit, but it's usually not the wool, but it can be sometimes. And the reason it's usually not the wool is because the trees today are so much better than the old trees that we had years ago. They just fit so much better, and I'm not sure that on a really good tree, on a good horse's back, that the wool's even necessary. But we still put it on everything. Well, I hope that helps you a little bit. Know whenever you need or don't need to line your saddle, and whatever you do, take it to a reputable shop that does a good job. Thanks for watching.